Hello children, we are in the second chapter, Is Matter Around Us Pure? Okay, in the previous video we learnt about concentration of a solution, saturated and unsaturated solution and solubility. In this video we will learn about physical and chemical changes and separating techniques, okay, to separate components of a mixture. So let's start. Now there are different types of changes that takes place around us. In some changes new substances are formed, while in some changes no new substances are formed. So we can classify changes as physical and chemical changes. Okay, so let us start with physical change. Now if you add some water in ice tray, okay, and keep it in freezer, after some time when we remove the ice tray, we can find that the water solidifies into ice cubes. Now when we keep this ice cube outside for some time, or if we heat this ice cube, what will happen? The ice will melt to form water. Okay, so you can see a change is taking place. There is solid is turning into liquid. Ice is turning into water. Now the second one, when you boil water, okay, the boiling water, you can see that it forms steam, and when we condense this steam, we get the liquid back. So again over here some changes took place, that is steam is changing into liquid. Now from this, how can I say that are these changes physical or not? So let us find out. Changes that are temporary and reversible, those changes are physical changes. In physical changes, the changes are temporary and reversible. Now in case of ice, so when you keep ice outside for some time, it will turn into water, and this water, if we solidify or if we freeze it, it will again turn back to ice. So what is happening? It is reversible. We can reverse water back to ice, and ice can be reversed back to water. So these changes are reversible, and it is not a temporary, it is a permanent change, because we can change the ice back to water. No new substance are formed. So in physical changes, no new substances are formed. Like ice. Ice turns to water. So where nothing new is formed, because both ice and water, they are made up of water molecules. So nothing new is formed. Individual properties of substance are retained in physical change. It means in water, the property of water molecules are retained. So nothing is changed. The change is only in the physical state, size and appearance. So water is when you cool it, it will turn into ice cube. So over here state is changing from liquid, it is turning to solid. Size might change, even some appearance will change. Water was liquid form, so when you freeze it, it turns into solid. We get a form of cube. So the appearance changes. Clear? So in physical change, no new substances are formed. They are temporary and reversible. Okay. Individual, that is properties of substances are retained, and the change is only in terms of size, appearance and physical state. Now you can see over here, it's an example of making a solution. So making a solution is a physical change. In this we can see that when you add salt to water, the salt will dissolve in water. Okay, it will completely mix with water and it will form a solution. So in this, nothing new is formed, no new substance is formed. Only salt is mixing with water, right? And it is reversible. We can reverse it back. It means we can get the salt back from water. When we evaporate the water, we will get the salt back. So it is reversible. And property of salt is retained. The property of salt is what? Saltiness. So when you taste the water, you will find the water is salty. So individual property of substance is retained. So I can say that making a solution is a physical change. Breaking a glass. Okay, breaking a glass tumbler. So when you break a glass, it will break into pieces. So when you take a piece, you'll find that still that broken piece is made up of glass only. So over here, no new substance is formed. Okay, only glass is there, but it is only glass, and that too in broken pieces. So nothing new substance is formed. Only the appearance has changed. Appearance and size will change, but no new substance is formed. So breaking of a glass is a physical change. Glowing of an electric bulb. So when you switch on, what will happen? The electric current will pass through the filament. The filament will become white hot and it will glow to produce light. And when we switch off the current, what will happen? The filament will go back to its normal condition and it will stop glowing. Okay, so over here it is a reversible change. Nothing new is formed. So glowing of an electric bulb is an example of physical change. Okay, now we'll go through some examples of physical changes. Okay, melting of wax, melting of butter. Okay, these are all physical changes because wax and butter, when you solidify, again we will get the same thing back. So it is reversible. Only the appearance might change, but it is reversible. Dissolving salt in water, that is making a solution. Again, it is reversible. Just now we have seen in the example. Mixing of iron filings and sand. So when you mix iron filing and sand, what is happening? Both iron filings and sand are getting mixed with each other. We can separate both iron filings and sand. So where nothing new is formed. Making a fruit salad from raw fruits. Fruit salad means what? We are cutting the fruits. So nothing new is formed because each piece remains a fruit only. Breaking a chalk piece. So when you break chalk piece, what will happen? The broken chalk piece will still be a chalk. So nothing new is formed. Stretching of a rubber band. So when you stretch a rubber band, what is happening? The appearance changes. Nothing new is formed. And we can, when you remove, and it will again come back to its original position. Cutting or tearing of a paper or cutting of grass. It's a physical change because what are we doing? We are just cutting the paper. So when you tear the paper into small pieces, still it remains a paper only. No new substance is formed. Rotation of a fan. Same like glowing of electric bulb. Sublimation. Sublimation of solid. We have learnt in first chapter sublimation. That is, when you heat solid, it will change into vapor. And that vapor on cooling will change back into solid. So it is reversible. Nothing new is formed. Melting of ice cream. Okay, again here what is happening? When ice cream melts, solid turns into liquid. Change in physical state. But nothing new is formed. No new substance is formed. So it is a physical change. Okay, so we have done with physical change. So remember some points. In physical change, no new substance are formed. The changes are reversible. And when we say change, it can be in terms of state, size and appearance. Now we will come to chemical change. Now when you burn a paper, okay, what will happen? You can find that when the paper is burnt, it will turn into a black color powder, right? It turns into a black color powder or ash. Iron nail. When an iron object or iron nail is exposed to air and moisture, what happens? A brownish reddish layer starts forming on the iron nail. That is called as rust. Rusting of iron. So these two are examples of chemical changes. So let us find out what are chemical change. And chemical change, the change, it is permanent and irreversible. It means we cannot reverse it back. So like when you're burning paper, so once the burning is done, the paper will turn into black color ash. So that ash we cannot reverse it back to paper. So it is irreversible and it is a permanent change. Now, one or more new substances are formed in chemical change. So what is happening? Paper, when you burn paper, it changed into a new substance, that is a black color powder. Iron nail, where it was exposed. So what happened? A reddish brown layer, a rust layer formed on the iron nail. So over here what is happening? Some chemical reaction is taking place. So there is a change in the chemical composition. Individual properties of substances are not retained. Okay, it means the properties will definitely change because over here there is some chemical reaction taking place. There's a change in the chemical composition. So the properties of substance will not remain the same. The change is in the chemical composition. Like I said, when you burn paper, it turns into ash. So a different product is formed. Now in this picture you can see it is an example of magnesium ribbon. When you burn magnesium ribbon, so in the first picture you can see when you burn magnesium ribbon, okay, when you place a lighted matchstick near magnesium ribbon, what will happen? It will burn with a bright, dazzling white color light. And once it burns, okay, when the whole magnesium ribbon burns, you get a white color powder. That is magnesium oxide. Clear? So when a magnesium ribbon is burned, okay, after burning, we get a white color powder called magnesium oxide. So in this, what is happening? We get a new substance. That is, from magnesium ribbon, we got a white color powder, that is magnesium oxide. A new substance is formed. And it is irreversible. We cannot reverse it back. We cannot change that white color powder back to magnesium ribbon. Okay, so these are all chemical changes. Now we will see some examples of chemical changes. Okay, ripening of fruits. Now a raw fruit turning into a ripe fruit. Okay, so in this a new substance is formed and it is irreversible. We cannot turn that ripe fruit, that is ripe mango, back to raw mango. It is irreversible. Formation of curd. So when curd is formed from milk, right, we get a new substance like curd, and curd and milk both are different from each other. A new product is formed and we cannot turn this curd back to milk. It is irreversible. Cooking of food. So for cooking food, what we do? We use raw vegetables. So when these raw vegetables are cooked, chemical reaction takes place and that raw food turns into cooked food. We cannot turn this cooked food back into raw food again. Burning of coal, wood or LPG. So when you burn coal or wood, what is happening? Carbon dioxide is given out, water vapor is given out, light is produced. So there's a change in the chemical composition. Growth of a plant. So growth of a plant, what is happening? From a seed, it is growing into a plant. So it is irreversible. We cannot reverse the plant back to seed. Formation of iron sulfide. We have learned in this chapter, right? So when you heat iron filings and sulfur powder, it turns into a black colored compound called iron sulfide. So iron sulfide, we cannot reverse it back to get iron filings and sulfur powder. Cutting of a tree. So once a tree is cut, we cannot reverse it back. Digestion of food. The food which we eat, it is digested, right? So chemical change is taking place. Frying of roti. So when you fry the roti, it is like cooking, frying, everything comes under chemical change. Burning of magnesium ribbon. Okay, these are some examples of chemical change. Now burning of candle. Now can you tell me, burning of candle, is it physical or chemical change? Okay, burning of candle shows both physical as well as chemical change. Now how physical change? So what happens when we heat the candle? Some of the wax starts melting, and this wax, when you resolidify, it turns back to it. When you cool it, it will resolidify. Clear? So over here what is happening? No new substance is found. Only wax is changing the state from liquid to solid. So melting of wax is a physical change. Now how chemical change? What happens? When you start heating, some of the molten wax, it will vaporize. It will vaporize to form carbon dioxide, water vapor and light. So over here some chemical reaction is taking place. So this comes under chemical change. Is it clear? So burning of candle is both physical as well as chemical change. Now in this you can see difference between physical and chemical change. So in physical change we know no new substances are formed. And in chemical change, of course, one or more new substances are formed. In physical change, it is temporary and reversible. In chemical, it is permanent and irreversible. Individual properties of substance are retained in physical, whereas in chemical, the individual properties are not retained. In physical, the change is in physical state, size and appearance, and in chemical, there's a change in the chemical composition. Okay, I hope you have understood physical and chemical changes. Now we'll come to some of the separating techniques. We know that mixture is an impure substance. It means it is made up of two or more components, and these components are not chemically combined. So we can separate the components. Okay, we can separate the components of a mixture by using different physical methods. Okay, so we'll start with the first method. Now this picture is very familiar. Okay, the first method is separation by sublimation. Just now in the example we have seen sublimation. So sublimation means what? when you heat a solid, it will turn into vapor, and when you cool that vapor, it will turn into solid. Now we know that all solids will not show sublimation. Only few solids like ammonium chloride, iodine, camphor, naphthalene, okay, these solids will only sublime. Now if you have a mixture of salt and ammonium chloride or sand and ammonium chloride, so how can we separate the components? So the components are ammonium chloride and sand. So we know ammonium chlorides sublime. So with the help of sublimation, we can separate them. So what we will do, we will heat the mixture of ammonium chloride and sand or salt. So what will happen? Ammonium chloride will start turning into white color vapors. And when this vapor rises up and when it comes in contact with the cold wall of the funnel, it will solidify. So once all the ammonium chloride sublimes, what we will get? The sand or salt will be there in the china dish. So in this way we can separate ammonium chloride and salt or sand by the sublimation method. Okay. The next separating technique is separation by magnet. Okay, now we know iron. It is attracted by magnet. Now, if you have a mixture of iron filings and sand, okay, what will happen? We have a mixture of iron filing and sand. So the components are iron filing and sand. Now, how to separate them? We will separate the components by using magnet, because you know iron filings will stick, it will get attracted to the magnet. So if you bring a horseshoe magnet close to this mixture, all the iron filings will stick to the magnet. So in this way we can separate iron filings and sulfur powder. We'll get them separately. Okay. So if a mixture contains iron as one of its constituents, we can separate it by using sand. We can separate it by using magnet. Okay. So if you have a mixture of iron filings and sulfur powder, if you have a mixture of iron filings and sand, okay, we can separate them by using magnet. Now in the factory, they get waste material, okay, they get heap of waste material. Now this waste material also contains iron. It also contains iron material. Now this in this factory, they separate the iron materials from the other waste. For that, for separating iron materials or iron waste from the other waste, they use big or huge electromagnet. Now what is electromagnet? Electromagnet is a magnet which works on electric current. Okay, so they place a huge electromagnet on the crane, and this crane is brought near the waste material. So what will happen? All the iron waste will stick or will attract to this electromagnet, and then they can separate the iron waste and the other waste material. Okay. So if the mixture contains iron as a component, we can separate the iron with the help of magnet. The next separating technique is separation by evaporation. We know we can separate, we have just learned we can separate salt from water by evaporation. Now in this you will see how we can separate colored components that are present in a ink. Now ink is a mixture of dye. Dye means D-Y-E. Dye means colored component. So iron is a mixture of dye in water. So by using the technique of evaporation, we can separate this colored component from water. Okay, we know ink, they are of different colors. We have black color ink, we have blue color ink, we have green, red color ink. So all these colors are because of dye that is present in them. Okay, so we will use a technique of evaporation. Now for this, what we will do, we will take a beaker and fill it half with water. Then take a china dish and add some ink. It can be of any color, blue color or black color. So add some ink in the china dish and place the china dish on the mouth of the beaker. Now in this, we are not heating the china dish directly on the flame, because if we do it, the ink, it can burn. Okay, so for that reason, we are placing it on a beaker. Now start heating the beaker. What will happen? The water will start boiling to form steam, and this steam will heat the ink present in the china dish. Okay, so as the ink is getting heated, what will happen? The water that is present in the ink, it will start evaporating gradually. And once the water is completely evaporated, we will get solid colored components on the china dish. Okay, so in this way, we can separate. Okay, we can separate the colored components or dye from ink by the process of evaporation. Okay, I hope you have understood, children, whatever we have learned today. Okay, we have learned about physical and chemical changes, and we learned 3 separating techniques. Okay, I hope you have understood. Thank you.